also, people love you for this. Like, so that's how they would tell him bad news. They couldn't just go, here's a bunch of bad news.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's a man baby.
He's a toddler. Yeah. He's a
What's going on, you guys? Today with Kyle Kulinski going in on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has gotten lost in the sauce. This clip is from whenever Joe Rogan had Trump on before the election. And Kyle Kulinski is bringing up some great points. I'm adding some commentary. Let's get into it.
Millionaires and Wall Street moguls in his administration than anybody in history, or him not getting an infrastructure bill through, or rolling back 112 environmental protections. Joe says he cares all about the environment. Trump rolled back 112 environmental protections. Maybe a question about that, or the 30,573 lies he told in his first term. So look, forgive me if I sound frustrated, but I am frustrated because in this election, policy didn't really seem to matter much, if at all. Under Democrats, 50 million people got health care. Under Trump, 3 million people lost health care. Nobody cares. It didn't matter. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's having the conversation. Nobody's pointing out the facts. Nobody's educating people. They're sitting around shooting the shit and giggling with the boys, right? And the end result of that was what? People ended up supporting a literal fascist, right? Look, you can say that sounds hyperbolic. At this point, it's not hyperbolic remotely. The facts are the facts. The guy tried to overturn the last election. He tried to do an insurrection. He tried to do a coup. He did the fraudulent elector slates. He tried to force Mike Pence to reject the results of the election. When Mike Pence didn't, a crowd was chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and Trump said he deserved it. Trump knew the election wasn't stolen. He knew it. He called it crazy himself. He said to Mike Pence, "Mike, you're too honest," when he tried to get him to overthrow the election, and Pence said no. This is the guy that we're dealing with. This is the guy that we're dealing with. Never mind Rogan claims he's anti-war. Trump is massively pro-war. Rogan claims he's pro-free speech. Trump is massively anti-free speech. Don't take my word for it. Look at their record. We've covered it a million times on this channel. So is he responsible for it? Did he help get Trump elected? Yeah, I think it's undeniable. Based on just that anecdotal stuff and based on Trump gaining in virtually every demographic group, including younger people, I think he probably did. And
so right here we have Kyle Kulinski going on a little bit of a diatribe. Joe Rogan is supporting Donald Trump, who is fully conservative, conservative taken to its highest extent is fascism. Trump is deporting pro-Palestinian supporters, and we are calling them, they're causing disruptions. This is all blame games. This is all, putting the blame on someone who can't speak up, who can't tell the real story, and then they get deported. That being said, I believe that the election was messed with to a certain extent. You have the entire, Hunter Biden laptop that was said to be Russian propaganda, nothing to be real, pushed by the FBI, and then, proven that they knew everything what they were doing. They knew that it was a true story and they were lying about it. But now they're saying that a few years later. So let's not act like that didn't affect the election. That is one bureau completely interfering with the election. Whether for what reason, who knows, but that's not really the issue here. The issue here is that we cannot fully support Trump blindly. That's not the way we do it.
We gotta look, I'm sorry, we gotta hold people responsible. Joe's a grown-ass man. He claims to have this ideology that I just played in this video for you here, and then he endorses Trump. That's a contradiction, right? It's one or the other. Either you're lying now or you were lying then, right? That's it. That's all there is. Or you had some sort of, not evolution, de-evolution. You went the wrong way. You went the wrong direction because, whatever. The vibes, bro, or he's like, Trump is kind of like a comedian and he's funny, bro, or he was able to have a conversation and Kamala didn't want to, bro. Like, really? This is the kind of stuff we're going to decide the future of the country on? Really? All right, I got one more for you. I just wanted to play this for you, too. This is how Rogan used to talk about Trump back in the day.
Incredible about that guy is that, I'm saying even when you watch him as president, he was full of energy.
Full of it.
Every day. And they say he slept for like 4 hours a night. He's one of those people.
He's on Adderall.
God.
You think he's on Adderall?
Yes, I do. Only because there were multiple people who used to work on The Apprentice that were like, he was gassed up for shoots.
Really?
Yeah, because he has trouble reading. He would struggle to read prompter or script when he was just, let's say, sober. So they would give him that and he would dial in more on reading. Because he gets very bored, they said. He would get bored at the CIA briefing in the mornings. He was like, I don't want to read that. There's a daily briefing you get as president. He's like, you read it. And then tell me, and if it's bored, so they would have to make it more engaging for him because he would just
I heard
tap
that they
out.
would put his name in briefings multiple times to keep him interested.
And then Kushner, his son-in-law,
Yeah.
said that he came up with a formula to keep him engaged.
Kushner did?
Yes, because he obviously was close to him and knew him well, and the formula was like 2 good, 1 bad. So if they were going to give him bad news, he'd go, you start with some good news. So they go, this is going well. Everybody's thrilled with you about this. Here's a bad thing. Also, people love you for this. Like, so that's how they would tell him bad news. They couldn't just go, here's a bunch of bad news.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's a man baby.
He's a toddler. Yeah, he's a toddler.
That's how he used to talk about Trump before he came on his podcast.
So how does Joe Rogan go from that point? How does he go from completely calling Donald Trump a man baby to then endorsing him to become the president of the United States, to become in charge of a literal country that he's living in? We'll get into that after this next clip.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to tell you. This feels worse than 2016 because in 2016 I saw the Hillary loss coming. I saw it. Trump was running a good campaign. Hillary was running a bad campaign. Polls said she was up, but it was like, is she? This time, the polls kind of said they were tied, but it did not. Trump was running a horrible campaign, and Kamala was running an okay campaign, and it didn't matter. Trump ended up winning. And yeah, the contribution of like the podcast sphere is something I'm not going to forget. I am not going to forget. And look, they now own it, right? They now own I don't know if Tom Segura supports Trump, so not him, but like Rogan now owns it. Others who were, fluffing Trump now own it. And I'm telling you, it's going to get real ugly real quick. Now, they'll probably just ignore it and not talk about the negative things, but we will, right? We will. And they're going to read too much into these election results also. I mean, look, bottom line, it was an anti-incumbency election. Kamala was viewed as the incumbent because, Biden's president. And that's all this was. Anti-incumbency election. And I think people will, within 6 months, people will be like, wait a second, I fucking hate Donald Trump. And then they'll be at a crossroads, right, in this podcast sphere. Do we keep fucking riding his nuts, or do we start telling the truth? And I don't know what the answer to that is, but certainly right now, the trajectory is not looking good, folks. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
Start this off by saying that I believe that Joe Rogan is attempting to find the truth. I think that deep down he is looking for something to believe in. It's clear that he doesn't like Donald Trump, but why does he go so far to actually support him and then say, hey, look, I endorse this guy? I think that personally it could come from the betrayal of the Democratic Party, wanting to say that it's for the people and really show its teeth and show that it's not for us whatsoever. That being said, I think that Joe Rogan should have said that both parties just write it off, say, you know what, there's no point in even voting, and then really speak the truth on what's happening. The fact that he went so far right is concerning, but different people react. They react differently. They grieve different. And I think the pain from it is causing him to, choose someone that he really doesn't even fully support. And now he is going to see, and I think he's seeing, everything that he so-called signed up for. I hope that his followers follow suit, that these people start to see what Donald Trump is really all about, and that they don't overlook the terrible things that are going on while Donald Trump is president. That being said, I think that what we can do as a people during this time is to stay informed from every single source that we can, and to keep an open mind, and to do right with those who want to do right, and do wrong with no one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.